We're privileged to have with us today representatives from both the Obama and the McCain campaign to talk with us about the visions of space of their candidates and what we might be able to expect for the space program if they should be elected. Representing the Obama campaign is Lori Garber, who many people may know was the former executive director for many years of the National Space Society, and certainly known people in the space community for her work there. And representing the McCain campaign is Walt Cunningham, who is a former astronaut, who, of course, many people know about as well.
So I'm going to let Senator Obama outline, first of all, what he said 2 weeks ago about space himself, since he is a much better speaker than I am. So Ryan, if you could roll the videotape, as they say. This was, I think the date is August 2nd.
One of the areas where we're in danger of losing our competitive edge is in science and technology, and nothing symbolizes that more than our space program. And today we have an administration that sets ambitious goals for NASA without giving NASA the support it needs to reach them. As a result, NASA's had to cut back on research, trim the program, which means that after the space shuttle shuts down in 2010, we're going to have to rely on Russian spacecrafts. So let me be clear. We cannot cede our leadership in space. That's why I'm going to close the gap, ensure that our space program doesn't suffer when the shuttle goes out of service. We may extend an additional shuttle launch. We're going to work with Bill Nelson to add at least one more flight beyond 2010 by continuing to support NASA funding, by speeding the development of the shuttle successor, by making sure that all those who work in the space industry in Florida do not lose their job when the shuttle is retired, because we can't afford to lose their expertise. But more broadly, we need a real vision for the next stage of space exploration. To help formulate this vision, I'm going to reestablish the National Aeronautics and Space Council so that we can develop a plan to explore the solar system, a plan that involves both human and robotic missions, and enlists both the international partners and the private sector. And as America leads the world to long-term exploration of the moon and Mars and beyond, let's also tap NASA's ingenuity to build the airplanes of tomorrow and to study our own planet so we can combat global climate change. Under my watch, NASA will inspire the world once again and make America stronger, and is going to help grow the economy right here in Brevard County and right here in Florida. That's what we're going to do.
Okay, well, I don't know how many of you have seen that, but you can imagine for me, I just can't listen to it often enough. It's a very gratifying to hear him say those words. We know that within Brevard County. I think it's quite clear you're going to be hearing more from this candidate about his plans for NASA and the space program. He is committed to doing everything possible to eliminate the gap between when we're going to retire the shuttle and when we can launch humans to space ourselves. Obviously, this takes on a new meaning this week with the problems in Russia. I'm sure we'll get into that in the Q&A. In addition, for exploration, he is committed, you heard it, talking about going beyond low Earth orbit, back to the moon and onto Mars. Robotic exploration continues to be an interest to Senator Obama, as well as monitoring the forces of climate change on the planet from space and investing in aeronautics research. All of this he intends to do with greater international partnerships and with greater partnerships with the private sector. And to coordinate these efforts, he's already announced the reformation of the National Aeronautics and Space Council. He has, in response to questions, specifically said he would increase NASA's budget to accomplish all of these goals. And let me leave you with a quote that didn't make it into the clip, which he said he left an absolute commitment that we will have a space program that is second to none. Thank you very much. I look forward to your questions.
John McCain has always been a strong supporter of NASA and the space program. He sponsored legislation authorizing funding consistent with the vision for space exploration, which includes, of course, a return of astronauts to the moon and in preparation for a manned mission to Mars. John McCain believes curiosity and a drive to explore have always been a quintessential American trait, and this has been most evident in the space program, for which he will continue his strong support. As chairman of the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation, Senator McCain played a major role in legislation to provide funding for space exploration, both manned and unmanned, space science, earth science, aeronautics research. And he's also sponsored legislation to support the commercial space industry. Senator McCain has spearheaded efforts to control costs at NASA and to promote a space exploration agenda based on sound management, safe practices, and fiscal responsibility. I'll summarize it the same. As President, John McCain will ensure that space exploration is a top priority and that the U.S. remains a leader. Commit to funding the NASA Constellation program to ensure it has the resources to begin a new era of human space exploration. Review and explore all options to ensure U.S. access to space by minimizing the gap between the termination of the space shuttle and the availability of Orion. Ensure the national workforce is maintained and fully utilized. Complete construction of the ISS, International Space Station. Seek to maximize the research capability and commercialization possibilities of the ISS. Maintain infrastructure investments in Earth monitoring satellites and support systems. Seek to maintain the nation's space infrastructure. And last, and certainly not the least important, prevent wasteful earmarks from diverting precious resources from critical scientific research and ensure that adequate investments are made in aeronautics research. Back to Barack Obama. Good news. Probably due to your presence, Laura. As of the 1st of this month, Barack Obama became a born-again believer in Orion and Aaron. So, and he did it right there in Titusville, Florida. I just saw it. Here's what he said, quote, "Here's what I'm committed to. Continue the Constellation. We're going to close the gap between the end of shuttle flights and Constellation." And he said he would work with Senator Nelson for, quote, "at least one additional shuttle flight beyond 2010. I'm sure that's a token to bill. But he would not commit to a $2 billion increase to NASA's budget. Hello, Ron. You don't do these things without an increase to NASA's budget. Until this first weekend in August, Barack Obama was widely regarded as anti-space. His November 2007 education policy included a paragraph saying he would pay for part of the $18 billion per year initiative by delaying the Constellation program for 5 years, according to the document. Does he not understand that you can spend all the money in the world on education, but unless you can do something to inspire the students to learn, that it's not going to go very far? We must take into consideration the totality of Obama's legislative record, together with the totality of his campaign promises. Obama does have a record, and it's a record of doing and saying anything necessary to get elected, even if that means promising Florida and a space advocate community, that's you and I, the moon, because it will be easy enough to stiff us later. We do know this. John McCain was sponsoring space legislation when Obama was still organizing neighborhoods. Thank you.